should really consider the role of student voice, which we could help you operationalize if you join us on the website. What we're going to do right now is get into some breakout rooms. So once you accept your breakout room, you're going to have about 10 minutes to speak with an upperclassman, a freshman, and a random assortment of other adultier adults who are on this call. We have some guidance for you. And first and foremost, sometimes adultier adults go into a conversation with students with a hunch already, and we're asking you to seek to understand their experience, not to confirm your own hunches. We're encouraging you to ask once clearly and see what they have to say. Be kind of patient. And also feel free to probe. Tell me a little more. How'd you feel about that? What was that like for you? You're welcome to ask them any question you'd like about their academic experience or about research or about First Two. But if you need some tips to get a conversation started, we have a few prompts for you, including tell me about a time you felt successful or not successful in STEM or college. What advice do you have for someone who really would like to better support or help rural first generation or underrepresented students in STEM? So those invites, I think Angela's going to help us with that and invite you to join a breakout room. We're going to close those breakout rooms in about 10 minutes and use a few minutes to wrap up. Thanks so much for being with us. I'm so good at talking to people while I'm muted. Let me try again. I think we're all back in the main session now. And I had such a nice time in my session with an upperclassman from West Virginia State and a first-year student from WVU. It's really cool to hear them share their experiences with a professor at Bethany. So I just want to really appreciate the three people I was just in a call with, and particularly first-year student Jefferson, who contributed a lot to this presentation. And also just reminded me in the way that he was sharing with a professor at Bethany that when we present at First Two, we present on behalf of the group of 109 students who we represent. So when students give a presentation, the words have all come from students in our network, but they're not reading their own necessarily. So we just wanted to just remind everybody that that's a norm that we have in First Two when students present. And just to, I'm sorry that I didn't give that in advance. So I'd like to have everyone take to the chat, please. And in the chat, I'd like you to name quickly, with few words is fine, we'll know what you mean. What's your favorite takeaway from this student voice session? What was most important to you to do or to hear? So as these are flooding in, and it's so nice to read them, and I'm so jealous that I can't really see them right now on a cell phone, but I just want to again thank folks for spending some time after 5 o'clock prioritizing the voices of students. And I want to challenge you to think about how you might give more space for that in your lives than you do on the regular, and think about that as being the first and foremost way that you can join First Two. If that feels like a positive experience to you, has a good impact on what you're up to, we encourage you to reach out to us. Because some of these things that students are describing that could actually help make their experience better could be something that you could test as a change idea as part of faculty-student engagement if you're part of faculty or staff at higher ed. And we have some stipends if you're willing to test and report on what the outcomes are of making a little change like doing exam review differently, doing office hours differently, making study groups differently. And we are here to advise and guide folks who want to start using student voice differently with our group of student leaders and student directors. So again, on behalf of our whole group of 109 student leaders this year and the group of First Two as well, we really thank you for being here, and we're gonna really encourage you to think about what does action look like and how could you report in a way that all of us in West Virginia could learn from what you're making better for first generation and underrepresented students in their first 2 years of STEM study. Thanks so much for joining us, and I want a prize for ending my session right on the dot.
Oh, can I have 30 seconds for my quick spot? Next up in the First Two conference today is diversity, equity, and inclusion. We have some great panelists, and we have some really, really complicated questions about race, about racism, about what it means to be inclusive as a network. There's going to be a lot of time for you to also be interactive in that. And so we'd love to see you there at 6 o'clock if you can make it.
Thanks so much, everyone. See you soon. Great job, students.